Don't ever say I don't love y'all, y'all. Look at this. It is 11:38 p.m. I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But we are here for Joseline's Cabaret. What? A big mess. It was so much going on. So much going on. My notes are probably scattered, so bear with me. We're going to get through this. But before we do, as y'all already know, thumbs up the video, drop a comment down below. I know y'all are going to do that. Shout out to y'all for doing that all season long. Y'all have been a big part of me growing this channel. We're going to continue to grow this channel this year. We are set to hit 10K. That's the goal by the end of the year. Hopefully we can get there soon. Subscribe if you are new. Like I said, thumbs up the video. Be in the comments down below. I'm not going to waste any time because I'm tired. And I'm pretty sure y'all been waiting on this, but let's get into it. Alright, so they start off with a performance. I'm like, for what? But it was I Like the Way You Are. I wasn't mad about it. I wasn't mad about it. But we get back to what I was expecting, which was Oceans versus Isis, the first round. Isis, I was mad at. Because I just put her in my, if y'all didn't watch my Heavy Hitters of Zeus that I dropped on Wednesday, I had her in my top 5. This was not a good performance from Isis. She let Oceans get her down on the ground and get a couple licks in, which pissed me off. But we'll get back to it later on. She redeemed herself. But red hair in the audience, I know a lot of y'all mentioned her too. I don't think I really pointed her out, but she was a big part of that audience that I love. She has the best opinions. She was chanting Isis on, chanting her on just very vocally. But Joseline ends up making the both of them sit down and says, we're going to attempt to have a reunion. Y'all going to get y'all one-on-ones, but y'all going to sit down and we're going to talk. I said, love it, Joseline. Love it. That's how you do a reunion. Yes, y'all can fight, but sit down and have some dialogue. We don't want to just watch y'all brawling the whole episode. Like, for the whole reunion. That's boring. Like, have some dialogue. But, she says, like, I'm running a business. I'm the host tonight. The audience is cheering her on because obviously they like that too. But Joseline ends up asking, like, why did y'all do that shit before y'all even sat down? Like, why did y'all just fight? And Oceans is saying and screaming, talking, and the audience is booing the fuck out of her. Again, I love the audience. This audience has the best opinions because fuck Oceans. But she's screaming, talking about, let me talk, which I do understand because, like, I do want to hear what she has to say, even though I don't care. But just for the point of the show. But she ends up saying that she lives in Florida. She let Isis stay with her. And apparently, according to her, the second that she got to the house, she claims Isis was beefing with her little sister and took her car keys and disrespected her, screaming like a dope fiend while she's doing this. But Joseline told her to shut the fuck up. I said exactly. And they ended up showing screenshots of Isis on Instagram pretty much saying that Oceans was plotting against her, blocking her, and how she was going to tear her ass up at the reunion. And Joseline ends up asking, or pretty much saying to all the ladies, whenever they come down to Florida to do the rehearsals for the show and the tour, Oceans apparently houses the rest of the girls, lets them all stay there, drinks, food, all of that she provides, according to Joseline. And she feels like they're taking advantage of her. I'm like, okay. But Isis ends up saying that Oceans had lied on her, saying that she had stole her car and she ain't steal shit. Oceans gets up because Joseline is asking, like, Oceans, did you do it? And Oceans gets up to Isis, and they in each other's face like this, screaming. And Ocean's like, yeah, she took my keys, and they start going back and forth. And Isis punched the shit out of her in her face. And that's what I wanted to see. She knocked her out. She didn't knock her out, but she punched her good to where Oceans was trying to swim, trying to keep up with her. But she started swinging her around, getting them uppercuts in. I said, that's the Isis that I can back up. I can back that up. But, yeah, she tore her up in that round. But Joseline said, that's enough. Let's get to the next ladies, and tells them to sit down, get yourselves cleaned up. And Janisha ends up addressing the girls on the stage, telling them how nice some of them look, and the other ones look like they're ready to fight, obviously. But Joseline then addresses Lexi and says that I hope that you ain't come dressed like this for me because I'm ready to fight. Just standing up, joking and stuff. She's smirking. Lexi is laughing. But she says, like, this is not like you. Like, why are you dressed like this? And Joseline's asking who she's beefing with. And Lexi ends up saying that, pause y'all. Let me pause y'all real quick because this fan has my eyes like this because I'm already tired. But the fan blowing is taking my eyesight out. Hold on one second. I did that knowing that I'm about to get high, but whatever, we'll get through it. But Lexi, she ends up saying that she's not worried about Chinx. She said that shit was 3 years old. Like, that beef was 3 years old. Chinx ends up piping in and says it's not. Stop making diss songs about me, bitch. And Joseline asks if she made any diss songs about Chinx. And Lexi says, like, whatever. And they just start going back and forth. And Chinx ends up standing up, screaming, saying that you made 3 songs about me. I'm the one that inspired you to even start rapping. So they show a flashback to them fighting at the beginning of the season at that pool party. And Chinx ends up saying after they fought the first time, Lexi continued to beef and continued to do the beef and make these diss songs. And Lexi ends up saying that Chinx is ugly and trash. Chinx is not ugly. But they're now standing up at this point. Lexi is pretty much explaining to Joseline how she got the dude, a.k.a. her pimp. And Chinx is saying that Lexi be online recruiting little girls, allegedly. And she needs to be in jail, allegedly. If she is doing that, allegedly, I agree with Chinx. But I don't know. But that's what the word on the curb is. But Joseline walks over to Chinx and asks, what did you say? Like, who needs to be in jail? Why does she need to be in jail? Lexi says, that's not in my character. I wouldn't be doing that. Chinx says it's online. Like, why are you sitting here saying this? It's online. You need to be in jail, bitch. And they start going back and forth, asking each other, like, are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Are you done? Clearly they were done because they didn't end up fighting, I don't think, in this moment. But Lexi then goes over to Joseline and says, like, I'm over Chinx. I want to fight Fetish. Fetish comes down. And she had this, like, coat on. She takes the coat off, but she still got these shades on. The audience is cheering, obviously, because they know they're about to see a fight. But she's standing there with them shades on. I'm like, why you got shades on? And that lets me know that you can't fight for real. They start fighting, and you see they can't fight for real. But Fetish was getting Lexi on her knees and started getting the back of her head. But security ends up breaking them up. Fetish is stripping at this point. She is borderline butt-ass naked. And Lexi is saying that that she played her, talking about Fetish played me being Lexi, and telling her to pick a side. And, I mean, it kind of was clear she picked a side. She picked Chinx's side. She didn't pick your side. But they both start swinging at the air, trying to swing at each other. They get in the middle, do the same thing again. Like, both of them can't fight. They can't fight. But security gets in between them. Chinx, like I said, not Chinx, Fetish is butt naked. But they sit back down. I do like the fact that when they do fight, they do sit back down. Unlike baddies, baddies like to fight all day long. These girls will fight, get their round, sit their ass back down. Which Joseline and Janisha are doing a good job this reunion with getting that done. But Janisha then pivots to the pool party. She starts talking about how Wet was fighting Raven, which was Wet fighting Raven at the pool party. I don't think she fought her. She fought Drea and Dani. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping because it's been so long, but that's what I wrote down. I don't know if I remember that correctly because I'm tired and it's late at night. But Joseline, she ends up saying that she has a lot of love for Wet, and even though she feels like Wet doesn't believe it, Wet was like, so you do? Joseline said, I'll let you open the show tonight. And if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't let you get up here and talk slick about me on my stage. And I think that you're funny. I think that you're a superstar. To a certain degree, I'm like, does Joseline really believe that? Or does she believe that because the fans have said it? Like, we all know that Wet is the star of the show. Like, let's be for real. But Wet gets up and hugs her. They hug each other and embrace. Wet said she wasn't expecting her to do what she's done tonight. And was hurt by the situation during the show. And Joseline said, like, I never want to hurt you, and I never wanted to hurt her. They hug. I don't know if that's completely true, because Joseline, sometimes you be looking like you be wanting to hurt her. But okay, I'm gonna let you have that because you're looking like you in a decent mindset at this reunion. But Joseline, she ends up asking her, or saying that I asked you to open the show because I knew people would be happy to see you. Wet thought that she was getting set up when she asked because of episode 1 when she let Drea sneak her. Joseline then says, like, you did say that Drea's husband was cheating. And Drea ends up saying that Wet had talked about her motherhood and it's not for anybody to talk about. I guess, but like, if you're doing that in front of her to where she has an opinion, I mean, she has a right to voice it. But Wet ends up saying, but she talks about my teeth, though. Dre then apologizes. They hug it out. Couldn't be me. I told y'all all the time, people I fight, we can be cordial, but we can never be cool. Never. But Dre says that she has respect for Wet bullshit. But Joseline ends up saying that she says Wet's lying to her, pretty much saying, I'm so thirsty, but I stay wet. Y'all know that line. But Wet and I just totally butchered it. Charge it to me being tired. I'm tired. But Wet Way, she gets in front of Dani and she's asking to fight. I'm like, no, please, no. But she gets up and lets Dani drop her, y'all. She dropped her and just started stomping on her. I was so mad watching that. Security breaks it up. Joseline asked why she wanted to fight Dani, and Wet Way said because when I was fighting Drea in that first episode, it had nothing to do with Dani, and Dani comes in and jumps, which is true. But they start going back and forth about Dani snatching Wet Way's wig, and Wet Way said, my thing is, I don't know why I wrote Anna, but Dani could have sweat. This is crazy. I'm so tired. I wrote a completely different person from a completely different show in these notes. Dani could have asked to square up with Wet Way, which is true. Like, that sneaking shit is whack. But Joseline gets up to go use the bathroom, and they show a flashback of Wet Way versus Drea and Dani. And it shows exactly what Wet Way was saying. But Wet Way says exactly and gets up and runs up on Dani again and lets Dani just ragdoll her ass. I was so mad watching that. But Janisha then asked if this could be resolved, and Wet was like, I'm the star of the show. Y'all know that. But Janisha ends up asking her, like, would you come back? And Wet was like, no. I'm done. Like, I've done this 3 times. I don't really care to be here anymore. I want to be around people that actually are in a place where I can actually win. I want to elevate. It's time to grow. Like, because people want me to have my own show. That is the truth. And I like that she has that mindset because, yeah, you do want to elevate. Just don't elevate on baddies. I know that's what you want to do. And I know if she ends up on there, I definitely would enjoy it because she's Wet Way. But I want her to find another lane. And if that is her having her own show, then good. But yeah, I want to see better for Wet Way. But she pretty much is like one door closes, another one opens. But Dani's sitting there running her mouth. And the crowd is booing her. Love the crowd. But Dre and Dani, they're talking shit to the audience about, apparently they're calling them flip-floppers or whatever. They booing the fuck out of them. And they're sitting there clapping, talking about they want to see Wet Way on another tour. And they're clapping condescendingly. And she ends up telling them, yeah, yo, I know y'all want me on another tour because y'all know that y'all need me. And that's the truth. But Janisha then brings out Jayla as Joseline was returning. And Joseline says, like, Dre been doing all this evil shit, making diss songs about everybody. And I decided to cut her off to prevent her from making one about me. But Janisha's confused because of how close Neek and Drea were with Des as well. But Joseline ends up asking Neek, why were you so close to Jayla? And Neek says, like, at the beginning, everybody kind of built in their alliances and stuff. Jayla and her agreed to pretty much be together, have each other's back. Joseline ends up saying, too, like, but she made a diss song about you, too. Neek says, no, she didn't. Joseline said, you told me that she did. Neek said, no, I never said that she said my name, but she was talking about everybody else. And we haven't talked. Joseline then asked, Janisha then asked, why did y'all fall out? Which I want her to continue to press that issue later on in the next part because we didn't get that answer and I do want to know. But Joseline ends up asking how they met and Neek ends up saying in the house. Joseline said, in my house? She said, yeah, in the Cabaret house. I'm like, where else would they meet? But Neek ends up saying that she wasn't close to anybody in the house besides Jayla and Des. So Joseline ends up asking, do y'all eat each other out? The questions that Joseline would normally ask, and obviously Neek says no. But Janisha asked again, why did y'all fall out? Neek was like, it's personal, it's outside of the show. We want to know what it is. Like, come on. But Joseline ends up trying to pull it out of her, and Neek is still not trying to talk on it. But they bring Jayla back out. And, well, not back out because she was never out, but they pull her out now. And Des is sitting there tying her hair back. Jayla comes out. Erica walks up to the middle immediately. She ready to fight. They start scrapping. And to me, it looked like Jayla was getting Erica. Getting her. That first round, absolutely. Security's trying to break them up. Trying to get them to let go of each other's hair. And they go another round. And again, Jayla looked like she was getting her to me too. So if you asking me, that's 2-0 in Jayla's favor. But security breaks that up. Des is now standing there motioning for Jayla to come to her. The audience is cheering because it's like, okay, Des is about to fight. Des was wallpaper all season. So she's trying to get her moment at this reunion. So we all want to see what she's about to do. Erica still wants more. As we all know, Erica likes to fight. And if she didn't win, she definitely want to continue to fight. And I don't think she won those 2 rounds. So obviously she wants to fight. Isis is telling Erica to let Des and Jayla get their ones. Janisha is shocked. Like, Des is out here trying to fight. Like, what? When did you say? But Erica, she still wants Jayla. Jayla looked like she winded. She looked like she tired. But Joseline and Janisha, they start telling them all to sit down so they can ask a question. And Joseline ends up pivoting to Drea, Dani, and Isis. And she mentions that Dani had put Isis in a chokehold on the bus, the part that we didn't see in the episode. Y'all remember that last episode when they was doing the cuts, when Isis had gotten sent home and she went on that bus to fight Dani and Drea? I'm assuming this is what they were talking about. But she ends up asking Isis, like, how did it feel for for Dani to put you in a headlock for 60 or something seconds? And Isis said it was a soft one, but I mean, she had, like, I dated the beef with Drea because how many more times are we gonna fight? And Drea says, yeah, because it only ends, because when you beef with somebody for real, it ends up in people being dead. And Isis said, what? Drea reiterates it again, but she agrees, like, me and you deaded our beef. We'll see later on. But Joseline, she gets back to Erica beefing with Jayla, and Erica ends up saying, like, she wants to beef with me. Jayla said, hell nah. Like, you've been up in my DMs the entire time speaking for Neek. Pretty much sounding like what I can believe to be true. Neek, like I said, Neek is right here. If you got a pyramid, Neek is at the top. Des and Erica and Envy and Rose and Oceans and who else am I missing? Did I say Des? They all kind of like fall in line. Neek is the head honcho. Like, that's just what it is. So I can believe that Erica would be in somebody's DMs talking shit, defending Neek for Neek. But Erica, she ends up denying it. Starts talking about how Jayla is not wanting to be a part, or is not being a part of Black Squad, and apparently that's why she's mad or whatever. Childish shit. But they start playing Jayla's song on the T page, saying that it was up for Des and Erica at that reunion. So Jayla and Erica, they going back and forth about who messaged who first, and they finally get up to fight. Des now gets up as well, and Jayla and Des, they get to fight. Des in that weak ass post up. Well, I don't know what the fuck she was doing. She was doing this. What is this? What is that? Like, what is that? But they both start swinging. Des, I guess, was getting Jayla because Jayla was fighting her head down. She's swinging, but she... Des at least... And Des was doing the same thing, like... But she at least had the decency to have her head up so she can at least see where Jayla is. And she was getting her, if you ask me. But Janisha looked shocked. Neek fell on the floor, being dramatic. And Des is hyped by her fight. And the crowd is clapping for her, cheering her on. Everybody seems impressed with Des. I wasn't really. Like, she still can't fight. But she's sitting there with this weakest post up again. She's still doing it again. Want some more. And Jayla and her are circling around each other. Neek says, like, she don't want them to fight. They go another round doing the same thing. Security breaks it up. Joseline and Janisha are sitting there laughing because it is funny at this point. Because, like, what are y'all doing? But Janisha says, we learned something today about Des. But Joseline ends up saying that Des was in the Black Squad with Russian. And Erica says she was never a part of Black Squad. Yes, she was. Because y'all always like this at one point. Like, come on. But Des says that when she came in the house, she didn't know what she was signing up for. She ain't been in a fight in 6 years. And said that her, Des, and Neek agreed to be the Three Musketeers. And she says that Jayla ended up hating her randomly because Jayla was up Neek's ass. But I'm like, weren't you up her ass as well? Like, come on. But Des ends up saying that Jayla has been jealous of her, which I guess, I don't know. But Dez's mouth is leaking too. I don't know if y'all caught that, but it was red up in there. So I'm like, Jayla must have got her in one part of them rounds. But Janisha, she ends up saying, when did y'all establish this beef? Like, when did this all happen? And Des says, like, I unfollowed her and told Neek that I just felt like she didn't like me. Neek ends up saying, I made a phone call for them to squash the beef, but apparently it all reignited again, and I don't know how it happened. Joseline then asks where Raven is. I'm like, random. But Janisha then brings out Rose and Hennessyy. Joseline sitting there yawning. Well, she tries to bring out Rose and Hennessyy, but they don't come out. The crowd is cheering. Actually, I'm lying. Yes, they did. And I might be skipping over a scene. No, I'm not. I'm tired. Y'all. Bear with me. Hennessyy comes out. Cheeks out and everything. She looking around like, where's she at? She know Rose coming. But Joseline ends up asking, "Where's the outfit at that I thought she was gonna be wearing when you came out here?" And Hennessy said, "Backstage, it's back up." But because obviously she ain't gonna come out there looking super graceful and super elegant because she got to fight. But Joseline asks why she got on tennis shoes, and Hennessy says like, "I'm about to bust somebody. That's why." But Des comes back talking about who else wants it. Chinx walks up and says, "What's up?" Chinx goes to the middle. Nick is asking why they fighting. Chinx ends up saying because she was online asking why I didn't jump in K's fight. And said, like, you know why I ain't do it. Like, so if it was a problem on the show, it needs to be a problem now. That's pretty much what she's saying now. Joseline tells Nick and Erica, because they standing up around Des, telling them to let them handle their business. I agree. Let them square up and fight. So they do. And Chinx was getting Des, if you ask me, until security got involved. And then it looks like Des might have gotten in the uppercut. But they got each other's hair bad, like to the point where Nick and company and Joseline, they all trying to get up there to get them to release each other's hair. And they eventually do. The audience starts booing. Janisha ends up asking why they're booing. And she goes up to the audience and asks them to clarify. And apparently they said that Chinx didn't want to run around with Lexi, but did with Des. I said that's a lie because Lexi was the one that said that she didn't want anything to do with Chinx. Like she says, I was done with Chinx. I want Fetish. Chinx was wanting it with Lexi. So if anybody didn't want their rounds, it was Lexi. But Fetish is like, she'll run it. Like, don't worry about it. And Chinx comes back out and they run it. These two fight like sumo wrestlers. Like, Lexi and Chinx, they fight like sumo wrestlers. I can't tell you. They get down. They get on the ground, start wrestling. It got to the point where Chinx had Lexi in like a leg lock around her neck. I was worried that she might choke her out, but we get past that, and Janisha ends up saying that she ain't no Chinx. It was her birthday, and she shouldn't be fighting on her birthday. And Joseline's pretty much saying everybody needs to settle down. It's Chinx's birthday. I'm like, she done fought already, so what you want them to do now? But the audience was not feeling it. Joseline and Janisha calling them mean. Janisha ends up asking Lexi if she's done with Chinx. Lexi says, I'm so tired of this shit. I'm too grown. I'm 29 years old. I'm too old to be beefing with a 23-year-old over some 3-year-old shit. Chinx and Fetish, did I say Chinx? Lexi and Fetish, they start going back and forth. Fetish is saying that Lexi is getting pimped in real life. She ain't no real boss bitch. Lexi's now standing up to the audience, flexing on her shit. I got these cars. I got that car. I got this car. Told Fetish to get her ugly ass off the stage. Fetish sitting there talking about how she sold that you know what and has been recruiting underage girls to do the same. Joseline ends up saying that she wants to get down to the bottom of who said what between Lexi, Drea, and Dani. So she pivots to that conversation. And Drea says, like, me and Lexi talked it out that night. You, Joseline, told me to let it go. Joseline says, yeah, but you told me that Lexi was the one saying it. So Rose ends up coming out. She comes out with headgear on. Joseline pivots to her now and starts asking why are you like this? Did you come prepared to fight anybody? And she says yes. And Joseline says who? Rose says to Oceans and Hennessyy. Oceans gets up with her split nose that's bloody. ISIS fucked her up. But she gets up screaming as she normally does. Rose gets out there and they kind of like squaring up, circling around each other. And Oceans is trying to grab Rose, but Rose ain't worried about her. She's worried about Hennessyy. So she starts charging at Hennessyy, who's on the couch. She needs to leave Hennessyy alone because it never works in her favor when it comes to Hennessyy. Because she runs up over there and Hennessyy is on the couch. Like I said, she gets on top of Rose while she gets her on the couch, gets on her back, pulls her down to the ground, swinging on her. Hennessyy ends up bum rushing her in between the chairs. The chairs were together. They start splitting because Hennessyy gets in between and got her on her back. I'm like, damn. She ends up getting on top of her. Security's trying to break them up. She starts bringing them knees out. You already know. Bringing them knees out. Security sitting there trying to get them apart. Hennessyy got the death grip on Rose's hair, pulling her hair out. They finally end up getting separated. Rose goes back. And she goes back to go get Hennessyy again off guard. Security breaks them up. Joseline then comes forward and has a wig. And we're like, whose wig is that? Because I was thinking, whose wig is that? It's Rose's wig. So Hennessyy, she's now standing in front of Rose asking where she going. Because she about to walk off stage, it looked like. But Joseline and Janisha ends up asking Hennessyy to come back. She's still trying to get at Rose. So they start going again. Hennessyy is slinging her all around that stage. All around that stage, getting on top of her. Hennessy's strong. That's just what it is. Like them legs, she got some strength in them legs. Like them legs are strong, but she got good grip. Like she know how to wrestle. That's just really what it is. But Rose was trying to uppercut her when security gets them off the ground, but Joseline ends up bringing Hennessyy up there with her and Janisha. And Joseline's asking like, why are y'all going at it? Hennessyy says like she been talking about my child for 6 months, and she got a whole page dedicated to doing it. And she ends up saying, so let's talk about yours now. So who raises your kids? Your dad, you, or the baby daddy? Rose says that she does. And Hennessyy says no. Him and his other baby mama are doing it. They the one telling the tea online. And he don't fuck with you. Rose said, but you had to block him because they was harassing you and ganging up on you in your DMs. So they start going back and forth. And Rose ends up saying that she never has said anything bad about Hennessyy on TV. You're just mad because I cut you off. And Rose ends up saying that she's not friends with no hating ass bitches, which you are. Because those same bitches that you friends with was hating on you at the beginning of the season. But okay. But Janisha, she ends up asking if they were really friends, and Hennessyy said no. But they start shouting. Next week we get Joseline versus Envi. I can't wait to see that. Those two, Diamond versus Envi, Drea versus Dani. The audience clocked the one of them audience members got on that mic and clocked the fuck out of Drea. Clocked her. And Isis got jumped, boy. She got jumped by them two little punk bitches. And I hope her girls, which it looked like, were trying to defend her. But again, like I said in the trailer recap, my baby, my wife, Neek, does not look like she is fighting, and I'm very happy about that because I didn't see her fight nobody tonight, last week, or in that preview. So we'll see. But if y'all got this far and thugged it through with me, please thumbs up that video. If you haven't already, get down there in them comments. Let me know what y'all think about this jumbled episode. And I'll see y'all tomorrow on the live. Subscribe if you are new. I'll see y'all next week. We will be on time next week because we going to Cancun. We didn't make the Super Bowl. But it's all good. It's all good. We rebuilding. We'll get them next year. But shout out to JD. JD is that boy. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.